Hiya guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Guys, in this video, don't try to swipe up. Mambo sio mazuri watu wangu.
We have had people saying that June 25th will be a public holiday. There is no public holiday.
They know all my homes. And I'm here.
If we had all the information from day one, as far as he knew, would we have come this far?
They arrested this young man from his home when he was having lunch with his father.
If he was in his own room, who saw him hit his head on the wall?
Gachagua alituambia kwamba kuna hii killer squad ambayo pia inaongozwa na kitengo cha DCI kisiri zaidi. And hii killer squad wengi wao ni wanapolisi na walikuwa wachunguzwe. Wakati ambapo Gachagua alikuwa na come out telling Kenyans, Wakenya walikuwa wanaona ni mchezo ya Gachagua because amekuwa impeached, then anafanya nini? Anataka sympathy kutoka kwa Wakenya. But ukweli wa mambo guys ni kwamba Gachagua amekuwa ndani ya hii serikali. And despite of being inside William Samoei Arap Ruto's government, Gachagua pia amekuwa ndani ya serikali. Kuanzia serikali ya regime ya Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta up to serikali ya Moi. Unaona watu wangu? So Gachagua anajua mambo mingi zaidi. So saizi ukiangalia pale TV 47 mambo yamechemka. Kuna hii squad, kuna hii kikosi ikiongozwa na Dr. Martin Olo, Charles Owino and Dr. Mbai. Wanatuambia kwamba Gachagua was right. Na kama sheria ingechukuliwa wakati ambapo Gachagua alikuwa anakuja kuaddress Wakenya na kusema kwamba kuna hii killer squad, they wanted to poison him. Hii killer squad inafaa ichunguzwe. Kama ungefanya hivyo, serikali ingefanya hivyo, then saizi Albert Ojwang hangekuwa mahali ambapo yupo sahi. Unaona watu wangu? Because saizi mambo yamechemka, even William Ruto mwenyewe pia ametense. So hizo ndo mambo tunaenda kuangalia hapa kwa hii video. And in the same video, pia Isaac Mwaura ni msemaji wa serikali. Anatuambia kwamba on 25th of June sio public holiday, jinsi ambavyo Gen Z wamejipanga. And don't forget, Gachagua yesterday sent Minthika Linturi kusema kwamba 25th tutakuwa tunaandamana. Tutakuwa tunakumbuka wale Gen Z ambao waliaga dunia 25th of June last year. Unaona watu wangu? Because 1 year imeisha sasa, lazima tuomboleze. Na hii government ikitaka kuona kivumbi, wajaribu kususia, wajaribu kuzuia Gen Z from protesting na kuendelea kuomboleza wenzao. Hiyo siku mambo yatachemka. Mambo yatachemka. So in this video, don't try to swipe up. Na nasema thanks so extensive. Zile moments guys mnaenda kuchukua kulike video, acha Mungu aweze kukuonekania na kutetee kwa kila jambo. Kwa hivyo guys, hiyo like yako nimeweza kurecognize na nasema asanteni sana, nyinyi ni watu wa nguvu. Kwa hivyo guys, without wasting time, Gachagua said this one. Wakati ambapo kikosi cha DCI kilideploy police officers, claiming that wao ni police officers, walideploy even kwa zile barabara za Gachagua na manyumbani. They wanted now to arrest Gachagua. So huyu jamaa ni former deputy president. Mbona hawangeweza kusummon Gachagua? Wanakuja kumzuia barabarani. Hapo ndo nakuja kuaminiana na Gachagua kwamba hawa majamaa hawakuwa na nia nzuri. Sikiza.
Were to poison me through inhaled chemicals that would paralyze my brain within 3 months. This was the intent and the purpose of the whole operation. If the government knows that I've committed a crime known under the laws of Kenya and identified in the penal code, they know all my homes.
Unaona watu wangu? So number 2, Isaac Mwaura yesterday told us. Na kwa hii video guys, usijaribu kuswipe. Tuko na story mingi ambayo hao majamaa nimekutajia wanatupatia pale kwenye TV 47. And William Ruto anaendelea kupanic.
We have had people saying that June 25th will be a public holiday. There is no public holiday on June 25th. Whatever people are trying to recreate for the Gen Z movement, we want to tell them that is a thing of the past.
And don't forget, yesterday Minthika Linturi alituambia wataingia maandamano on 25th of June.
Within his 1,000 days, he's really done quite a lot that many past leaders were not able to achieve. And I want to very specifically say that within these first 100 days, we have ever since witnessed a lot of killings through police brutality. So on the 25th of this month, we are calling it the Gen Z Memorial Day, because as the opposition, we must really sympathize. We must remember those heroes that were killed last year. And today being the 10th, 2 weeks before the Gen Z Day or Memorial Day, it is also very sad that we sit and see or hear that a very young Kenyan by the name of Joang was brutally murdered by the police in a police cell. So I am wondering where actually this country is ended to. And as the National Organizing Secretary of the Democracy for Citizens Party, I must strongly stand out to condemn this act and saying that the police excesses are unbearable. We want to see the president himself come out and reprimand the DIG Langat and Mr. Kanja to exactly tell us who the perpetrators of this heinous crime are. We have a lot of pain as parents, we have a lot of pain as Kenyans, we have a lot of pain as people who would want to see a future in our youth that is being destroyed by the current administration.
Nono watu wangu. So guys, sikiza hii kikosi kisha tuendelee na mazungumzo yetu.
Position that the DIG ought to have stepped aside or being asked to step aside by now. So there are two issues. We are appealing to his conscience, and if the conscience is not enough, there is one person where the buck stops, the CEO of this country. He should have asked him to step aside if we care for a life of Albert Ojien.
The president issued a statement yesterday.
I mean, and that's
it did not come close to anything like
and
that.
that's what I'm saying. This is what should happen. And I'll go to this point. The party leader of DCP is on record. The other day, he said there is a squad of 101 members who have been mandated to do abductions. And he said it reports to the DIG. Now, I like what Kanja did. I mean, when blood is poured, I think people begin talking. IG came out from day one, and he said, it is a DIG who is a complainant. So connect the two. If it was a normal thing, those police, that guy would have been, Albert would have been held in Homa Bay or somewhere. Right? Connect the fact that there is a squad here, according to the deputy. And by the way, the DCP leader did a letter to police. We have never had any investigations or any, sometimes you should, you go back and say there's nothing like this. It was never said. Now, if the complainant is a DIG and he is the head of some squad, what the president should come and tell us is that I have asked the DIG to step aside and I have disbanded this squad. At least people will begin thinking there is some hope. But for now, I can tell you this. We are all hoping that this thing will come and end 2 days. That is what people in government think. Fred, ask me, I know. They're like, okay, 2-3 days, something else will come up. Today, everybody will be focused on budget. Albert goes. Did you see, Fred, that young man lying on a table? Did you see the pictures? I spent my whole day, the day before yesterday, at the morgue. Just for solidarity with that guy. Because today it is Albert. Tomorrow it is me, it is my sister, it's my brother, it is my cousin, it's my friend. So the moment we keep quiet because it's not me, tomorrow it is you. And this thing you can see, it doesn't respect community, where you come from. It doesn't respect region. It doesn't respect whether you're in broad-based or otherwise. It is catching everyone. So any life lost, Fred, we cannot come here and begin talking it so casually. It against God. God hates injustice. Mm-hmm. You cannot be God gives life to all of us, Fred. Me, you, the president, and anybody else. Then you decide yourself, you are the one to take people's lives. Now, how? Let me ask you, Fred. Yesterday I watched people talking, right? Fred, people who are very close to the president, people who have the powers in this country, complaining the way somebody would complain in Kibera. Complaining how somebody would complain in Subukia or Molo. Let me ask you, if you want to do something, don't go complaining in Senate. I was shocked. Simply drive to State House and say, just one call. Come here, please resign. Simple. Don't come, please, especially anybody who is close to should not come and complain to us. What are you saying? But let me say this very quickly. And I like that cartoon. I like that cartoon. You know, you are the one who is supposed to do ABCD. But you are here saying, you know, investigations. It's very simple. Now, I didn't know about the headline in Star. People have been asking, these hours, between the time the guy was picked and the time he was put at Central, where was he? We are trying to get answers. It's not me. It's the Star that said he was in Karura. We don't know. Secondly, the conspiracy. Look at the disconnection of the CCTV. But I want to say two things. Why is government intentionally radicalizing the youth against itself? That's the first question. Why? Because let's go to the point here. Number two, the question is, OCSs and OCPDs, the other lesson quickly is this, Fred. They should be careful not to take what I call unlawful instructions. You saw OCS beginning talking. Because everybody can see. It's only that we are waiting for them to do something, but everybody can see. While people watch TV the whole day yesterday, you can put dots. Not everybody may have gone to forensic studies, but you can see. The OCS is saying, well, me, I don't know. But you know, ABCD, but then he'll be asked who disconnected CCTV. So we are saying, please, officers, stop taking unlawful instructions. And I'm saying again here, it's not me saying. The official statement by the official opposition is that DIG Langat, peacefully and quietly, should just step aside, and then, because all fingers are pointed at him. But let me say this, I feel sorry for IPOA. Fred, this is very important for me. I feel sorry. 3 months ago, when the new chairman was appointed, it's here in the clip. He said, we are helpless. We depend on police to investigate because they don't have investigative powers. They depend on the same police. Ask me, I know. There are some cases, many cases. Some young man in a village called Solai, he was killed by police allegedly, you know, very, very, very clearly. Then I told my people, let's bury. They said, we're not going to bury. I told them, let's bury, we'll push with IPOA 3 years down the line. Even calling, even saying, this is what we did. The chairman said, we have no money. We depend on police to investigate them. Mm-hmm. If it has changed, let us know. You can see already the vice chair saying, we got a load blow because we are depending on the cooperation of the police, and their senior is the one who is being accused. I'm appealing to the conscience. I'm appealing now to the conscience. I'm appealing to something called justice. Kindly, not unless we do it politically and the person with the highest responsibility is held into account, there's going to be a problem. Let me ask you, Fred, if what is alleged, if I'm the person in leadership today, Fred, what I'm alleged I didn't do. So, assuming I'm a person in authority, I'm told I went and bought a house somewhere, I'm corrupt. If I'm not corrupt, or rather, if I'm corrupt, I will know, wow, people know what I'm doing. If I'm not, do you know what I'll do, Fred? Let the young man be arraigned in court, right? Let the man be punished. Let the TSC come and also punish him. That way, you'll send a signal that you cannot write whatever you want to write, but you cannot kill somebody because of that.
The truth is, DCI began to investigate. The truth is, they arrested this young man from his home when he was having lunch with his father. The truth is, they booked him in a police station, local, and they drove him to Nairobi. I'm saying to Nairobi, not to Central Police Station. I'm saying they drove him to Nairobi. That's true. The truth is that from the time this gentleman was apprehended from the hands of his father or from the comfort of his home, he was in police hands. And so we cannot run away from that. You can characterize it in any other way. What we are now being treated to are three things. One, is the Constitution of Kenya 2010 as it is in play, was it violated by the DIG? Was it violated by the DCI? Was it violated by the National Police Service? The answer is yes. Why? When you hear the statements being made by the police, even by the Inspector General, and even their press statements, they are saying that they investigated and that CAK told them who this person was and that EACC denied, and therefore they said this is a false report. How fallacious is that? Because the decision as to decide whether there is a crime committed or not is one that investigators come to at the conclusion, and they pass on to the DPP for decision to charge. Already, the police are behaving in the past where they would investigate and determine there's a crime and proceed to lay charges. That was before 2010. Not even DCI can investigate, conclude, and make a decision to charge. Not in this day and age. That decision to charge must involve an independent review of that evidence by the DPP, and therefore agree to charge. So we know the truth. Everything else we are being treated to is drama. Between the DCI and the police, this ball must be passed on to somebody. Yes, the OCS may have refused to book, but what was the reason and what did he do? Now, the whole circumstance around this case is choreographed in such a way that the story that is coming out seems to be one that is scripted. So the CS, Honorable Murkomen, is reading the same script with the IG. The only exception is IPOA. The only people who are telling us there seems to have been foul play and interference with the scene or interference with evidence is IPOA, which perhaps again is right, because IPOA has a responsibility as an independent police oversight authority to investigate the police. They are telling us that we have told the IPOA to take over. No, the police does not order, does not even direct IPOA on how to investigate a matter that involves the police. So obviously what we are being treated to is obvious. We are being told back, right, the truth is this gentleman died in the hands of the police. Initially the police said no, he committed suicide. This is not strange. We know of stories where we have been told that somebody shot himself, somebody broke his leg after and poured acid on himself. Those are stories we've been told, and sometimes have even been authenticated by, and I'm saying that in quotes, by pathologists.
Well, I want to start with gray areas. It is said that the first report that was made by the IG was that this guy committed suicide, and that he did it through by hitting his head on the wall. It is important to understand how IG receives reports. When incidences occur or crimes are committed, the police always write situation reports, what we call SITREP. It originates from the station where the incident has occurred. The situation report that was sent to police headquarters for that incident was that this person had committed suicide and that he had hit his head on the wall. And that is exactly what the IG reported. When other facts came up and questions were raised, for example, you find that it was said this man was in his own room. So the first question that an investigator would ask is that if he was in his own room, who saw him hit his head on the wall? Because he could have been in a room with other people, then they would have seen. So you find somebody maybe unconscious, you cannot conclude that this person. So it is important to know that it's not a game by the IG to have said what he said. He reported what was reported to him, and he believed on what was reported to him. But because the serious matter that involves death and a lot of suspicions and the general relationship of police and the public, people can make conclusions. But that was the reason why the IG made that statement. And so far, he has boldly apologized after getting the correct information.
So was he also given a very misleading information regarding the Communications Authority and also retrieving some of these accounts that we can see Communications Authority also startly denying that they provided this information.
Definitely the IG does not investigate any case. The IG gets information from his officers unless he's directly involved. I've not followed the issue of Communications Authority. I'm not privy to much details about it, but I'll give an overview later.
But these are some of the gray areas that actually which are emerging.
Let me talk of the areas I understand. The next question was about the OCS refusing to book. If it is true, I didn't get DCI well. If it is true that the OCS refused to book a suspect, it is within the responsibility of the OCS to refuse to book a suspect if he's of the opinion that the suspect is not in good health. Even if it would be his own officers who have gone for patrol, what he would do is to book the suspect and say the suspect is not in good health and refer the suspect to hospital. But remember, the DCI headquarters has jurisdiction across the country. They can book you anywhere depending on the jurisdiction in which the person ought to be charged. So DCI headquarters can book you in central Nairobi, can book you in any police station in Nairobi of their choice. So if it is true the OCS refused, the only thing that the question that would be asked, why did you refuse to book? If the persons were in good health, why did you refuse to book? But if the person was not in good health and he advised that the person be booked elsewhere, then there is nothing wrong for him to have done that. The third thing is that I've heard people say that there was no offense committed by the deceased person. The deceased has died and therefore it is very painful to talk about him. But the question is, I am told that this person had made a false publication. Under the Misuse of Computer and Cybercrime Act, there's an offense of that nature, false publication. Mm-hmm. In fact, there's even what we call social engineering, where people do online dating and then other things come in. There are also even false identity. Like today, if you go to Facebook, I have a very nice Facebook account. I've talked to my colleagues to bring it down. It has not been brought down. If you go to Facebook account, you'll find an account with my name, and I've put on a suit and a sweater. It is not my account. It is a...
It's a parody.
It is, yeah, it is. It's a false... somebody as... It's a false identity in this particular account. There are a number of offenses which take place, but equally, Lagat, as the Deputy Inspector General, did not report this matter to a police station. He reported this matter to DCI headquarters, which is not within his authority. He's a DIG for Kenya Police. He just runs police stations and police formations. And as a human being, though this has happened and it is bad, whether he's involved or not will be found, will be established. But he has a right to make a complaint. Just like today somebody is using my identity even to defraud people. Mm-hmm. If today the way I've reported and then this person is arrested and maybe somebody misbehaves and does a wrong thing. So what we are saying is it is investigations that will lead us. And I can tell you, this kind of investigation you cannot eschew. Investigations start from a certain point to another point.
Thank you.
This person was, just a minute, this suspect was in police custody. What we now need to confirm, and police officers must tell us, the OCS of the police station must tell us, the officers who are in the police station must tell us, and I want to tell my colleagues, nobody is going to protect any senior officer who was involved in this death. But it is the responsibilities of those officers. For example, if, for example, an officer was told to go and kill that man, what makes it difficult for him to say? Who will beat him?
Good
so
question.
What is most important
Thank you.
There would be direct evidence that people would give in relation to this, and up to where we are, it is very clear that a person has been involved in causing death.